Hello and welcome to the channel, not only the Dom Medicross channel, but the podcast channel itself. And I'm, of course, joined by a special guest. On his Instagram is B-Tech mix of Tom Grennan, George Ezra, and the Kooks by a special fan. I don't know if you want me to say the fan or not, but we'll just leave it there.
That would be my mother, yeah.
Right.
There's not a long list of fans going on. There's basically me mum.
Right, that's absolutely fine. I think it's a perfect summarization from reading you. But we are, of course, welcomed. There we go. There's the applause. There's the applause itself. The production value here isn't the best, I must say. But thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, Jacob is a musician, born in Blackburn, I assume, but you come from the area. And of course, you support the Blue and White Halves, which is a reason why I've got you on the channel as well. We're going to talk about, obviously, you as a musician, but also Rovers this season, how your thoughts on them, and overall your first game, favorite player, etc., etc., etc. So, obviously, we'll start with Rovers themselves. I don't know your age, to be honest with you. 17, 18, I'm guessing.
Just turned 18, yeah.
Just turned 18, right. How have you had your first pint then, I'm guessing? Well, first pint in the pub.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I had the day of my 18th birthday, I put on a show in Manchester, and that was quite an interesting one, because you say that was good, because there's a lot of people there all night, and it was my 18th birthday, so, that worked quite well for me.
Right. So you couldn't see the next day after that, I'm guessing.
No.
Perfect. So, obviously, you're 18 years old. When was your first Rovers game?
Do you know what? This is a question, and I've been asked it a couple of times, and I've got the worst answer because I cannot for the life of me remember. but I went on I was looking through pictures the other day, and I found a picture of me, and I think I must have been maybe 3 or 4 years old or something, and that's the first picture I could find of me in a Rovers shirt. So I'm sorry, I can't for the life of me remember my first game, because I have a memory like a sieve. I can't remember yesterday. Never mind, like 10 years ago or whatever. So yeah, but it was quite some time ago.
Life of a musician, I'm sure that prioritizes rather than remembering the first game itself. But I'm guessing the era was, 15 years ago, 2005. So it'd be like Pedersen, David Bentley, Michael Wayner, two guy. Yeah. Is there a favourite player that you've had over the years, and has it changed?
Well, yeah, I'd say, as you say, at the moment, I think I'm going to have to say Tony Parks is up there, because when I did the music video for the Blackburn Rovers, for Ewood Lights, he came onto the video and appeared as a guest star. So I think for that reason, he's got to be up there at the top for me, really.
Absolutely, and he's born and bred Blackburn. He's been every single from every staff member to obviously a player for so many decades as well.
Yeah. He's a true club legend.
Exactly.
Really.
I think that's the perfect answer, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any other person that you could say, and I'm sure one day there will be a stand named after him, at least, at the very least. But obviously, Blackburn this season, like you say, that is the away kit. Is that the away kit this season?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Or is it? I don't have the away kit this season, unfortunately. I'm not really a fan of the Totally Wicked branding.
No, it's a controversial one, isn't it?
I just don't think it looks very nice to me. I was saying that I have Daff a bet, which is also like a bit of a controversial one. But how do you think we've been this season? Obviously, I'll bring it up here. This is slightly outdated. We're fifth in the table as it stands. Obviously, fourth from there. How do you think it's been this season? Obviously, there's a new manager, and how do you think we'll get on?
To be honest, I've been, as I assume many fans have been, particularly recently, very happy with how we've been doing. It's been a nice change, and I'm hoping we can keep it going as well. I've been watching the matches and all that, and it's been looking good. We've been looking exciting, which has been one of the things I've enjoyed recently over the past few weeks or so. And just looking like a lot of the times recently, we've been looking like we've been fighting for it more and wanting to win the games. I mean, last week was a bit different at Stoke, but in general, recently, I'd say in general, I've been really happy watching recently, and just been enjoying it, and as you say, getting them wins in. So I'm happy, and I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping, obviously, the cup goes well as well, keeping my fingers crossed. So I'd love to get to Wembley. That'd be
yeah, absolutely. And one of 6 teams in the EFL currently never to have played at Wembley. Another one being Accrington as well. So for a man who lives in Accrington, supports Blackburn, it's a tough last 15 or so years. But like you say, the last 10 or 12 games have been immense, apart from the Stoke game, including the Leicester game, the Sheffield United game.
Yeah.
Probably the best I've seen us since we were back when you probably started watching Blackburn themselves. With
So yeah, it's been a great basically since Christmas kind of time. We seem to have turned it all around, and it's been really good to watch.
Which is also strange because remember the Tony Mowbray era, where every time it got to February, we just thought you'd fall off a cliff, and it's weird having it in February, winning games, getting a nosebleed, and it's very. It's a nice surprise. It's a happy surprise. So obviously,
good.
You mentioned you had Tony Parks on your video, Ewood Lights, which is currently on Spotify. I'm guessing it's on other outlets as well, Apple Music, I'm assuming as well.
Yeah, it should be everywhere. Hopefully.
Everywhere, any socials. We'll plug it at the end. I'll put it in the description as well. It's obviously playing Under the Lights, playing Ewood Lights, performing, and also filming at Ewood Park. That must have been a dream come true, surely.
Oh, it was honestly the most surreal, crazy thing in the world ever. Just like, because I mean, in the past I'd been on like a stadium tour around the grounds and stuff like that, and this was like that, but on a whole kind of new level, if you know what I mean. And it was like getting to just walk across the pitch with my guitar and stuff like that, and then score a goal in the nets, which was just stuff like that really was kind of, I guess, not even childhood dreams, but dreams now that are just kind of coming true, if you know what I mean. And it was, we got to go everywhere in the stadium, and all these little back rooms throughout all the, I don't even know. I don't know how people find their way around the stadium, to be honest, that work there, because there's that many different doors leading to different places, and it's weird. You'll go through one place and then you'll end up like, you'll be like, oh right, we're in like the dressing rooms now, but we've just been in the, like, somehow end up in the away end or something. Now we're back in.
It's like a maze.
So, but it was absolutely crazy, and just, it was really good fun to be able to get out and get around the stadium and play the song and stuff like that, really. And as I say, I tried scoring a goal as well, which I managed to just about get in. Yeah. I decided, I was like, right, there's no keeper there, and it's a massive net. I'm just gonna have to kick it down the middle, because otherwise, if I miss, it's gonna look rubbish, just an empty net. And then and they had people trying to, they were like the people caring for the pitch and stuff like that. Like, what's this guy doing on the pitch at the moment? Just. But yeah, it was.
I tell you what, scoring in front of an open net at Ewood Park, that's better than some of the strikers we've seen over the last 10 years, I must say.
Fair enough. But I don't reckon I'd make the team. I don't.
Maybe not right now, but when it was the dark period, maybe perhaps sneak on the bench. But obviously, I know what you mean. Like, even just stepping on the pitch, never mind kicking a ball around it. It must be amazing. And I'd only done it a couple of times, but even you'll have the same feeling over and over again. I'm sure you'll be on it. You'll be back on whenever you can, whenever you have the chance. But obviously, we talked about Blackburn, and you said you've been touring around every single, well, not every single, but a lot of stadiums. And one thing that I noticed on your Instagram was that you had a whole year of busking, essentially, from every different city, every town.
Yeah. So
how was that?
Yeah, so a couple. It's weird. This was quite a while ago now. I think but I went on a bit of a busking tour where I went to I was going to raise money for a charity called Darien House, and basically what it was over the course of about 3 weeks we went to every city across the country. I think there was 51 in total, so it was a very busy few weeks, but it was super fun. I think when I was doing it, it was one of them. It was very tiring sometimes. And obviously, sometimes we did playing in like 3 cities a day and stuff like that. But like, when it was finished and looking back on kind of all the places I've been and stuff like that, it was I guess crazy to think about. And as I say, it was one of them. As I say, it was a crazy few weeks, but I definitely wouldn't change it. And it was really good fun, and also to get to. It's weird, you don't, I guess, realize how much stuff there is in our country as well, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and you'd end up in I'd end up in places I didn't even know exist, kind of thing, and spend a few, and then they'd end up being some of the nicest places in the country and stuff like that. So it was really good fun.
Yeah, you can be stuck in your own little area, can't you? So you don't really understand what is it about. And obviously, we'll talk about the best cities or places you've been to. But was
Mm.
there any? And you don't have to answer it. But was there any cities that you sung a song and you're like, I need to get out of this place right now?
There was a fair share of stinky cities. It's a shame I wrote down loads and loads of when I actually did it. I had which cities I liked and which I didn't all written down. But I remember, I think the worst city in terms of one that I was just Bristol wasn't great because they were just no one cared about me in Bristol. I think the problem was there were about four other buskers there, so I was just
It's
in
a
some
nice
random
save.
little corner. And then also when I was in Sheffield, I won't go into the story too much because it's a crazy story, but basically I was out busking in Sheffield and then this woman appeared on her bike and she started like cycling around where I was busking and I was like, what's going on here? And she did this for about 5 minutes. And then she randomly decided to ram into my speaker and hit my speaker over. I was
Okay,
like,
you'll
right, this
get
ain't
that in
great.
any city. You'll
Yeah,
get yeah,
yeah.
in any city,
So
I'm sure.
and she carried on doing stuff and I packed up and then I moved over to somewhere else and then she appeared again and started like hitting my speaker and I was like this went on for about like half an hour and then I was like, right, you know what, we're cutting Sheffield short, I'm going home now.
Yeah, so avoid Sheffield and Bristol, guys. If you ever are out and about in them areas, I'm sure if you ever see a woman on a bike, never put a
Yeah,
speaker down. Essentially, that's what
no,
you mean.
run away, go get as far
Um,
away as you can.
so we'll quickly say as well. What was your favorite place to busk?
Oh, I tell you what, there are different places I like for different reasons. I really liked Truro, which was it was
Yeah,
at the far
yeah.
side, like kind of in the middle of nowhere. But it was really good because it was, and this is going to sound weird when I start off, but it was absolutely pouring it down with rain, and it was absolutely horrible. But I ended up having, for some reason, I don't know why, there must have been better things to be doing, but there were about 100 people or so who just decided to kind of
Wow.
sit out in the pouring down rain and just listen to me play for an hour or something like that. And I was like, that is, I feel like they probably don't get too much going on in too many, not much in it. Yes, but it was really nice that all these people kind of stayed out and had a listen to what I was doing. It was kind of a shame because I was kind of thinking if these people weren't here listening, I'd be like, oh, it's a bit rainy. I might go now. But no, we were
Just
lucky
stick
for
around.
rain.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was one of the only places that was really bad for rain, but they seemed to stay and listen.
Ironically, you had one of the most uh, attendees there, which is
Yeah,
nice to hear. To be fair, because you know when you hear about down south, there's this like conjecture that people aren't as friendly, but hearing that is a nice thought. Final question before going to the random football of the week: is there any? Obviously, you talked about every city that you've been to. Is there any places that you'd aspire to play at, be it like
oh,
a venue or a city or a country?
I'd love to get out. I guess traveling in general and play in some more places and things like that. But one of the things I really want to do is I want to do some kind of, I guess, hometown gig, if you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
quite difficult finding somewhere in Blackburn because there's not too many venues going. So we're trying to have a look and hopefully sort something out. So I know it sounds weird, but I think the dream is to play
No.
somewhere
Yeah.
in Blackburn. And also there's a few people really weirdly. I've got a few people in Germany who listen to my music and stuff like that. So and they're asking and yeah, so I might end up one day heading to Germany to play for about two people.
Hey, well, two more than me, so
Yeah.
well done. But obviously, yeah, I think obviously King George's Hall comes to mind in Blackburn. I'm sure that would be
Mm,
the big one in Blackburn. I think
that'd be
that's
the
the biggest one. Yeah,
oh yeah, that'd be the dream. I think it might take a few years to get there, but yeah,
yeah.
that's the dream.
Got to keep aspiring. And no, I
Yeah.
like that answer. I like the home because you obviously could say the big ones, but the home is where the heart is.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
obviously, right now, obviously, like we said, thank you for joining us, Jacob. But we've got something to ask you from the podcasters as well.
Right.
Obviously, this season we've had this team, random team of the season. Marcus Hanneman, Steve Finnan, Ryan Nelson, Steve Malbronk, and Collins John. Do you not recognise any of those names? First and foremost.
Oh, I'm trying to. My eyesight is not very good.
So in net, it's Marcus Hanneman, and then
Right.
there's the bold one from America. Do you remember him?
Yeah. Got you.
Right. Yeah, and then the rest of Collins John. I don't think he's from like early 2000s. It shows my age a little bit there, but we'll go on to the random football of the week, and this is Jacob's entry. So, have you got a player in mind?
Oh, let me have. Do you know what? Yeah, go on then. I think I'll have to go for a Blackburn Rovers player of some way.
Right.
I think.
Here we go.
We good to go?
Random footballer of the week.
Oh, right, okay, right. I'm gonna go for. Sorry, I didn't hear it. My mic just cut out.
That's fine.
But I think I'm gonna go with David Dunn because he went to the same school as me.
Absolutely perfect. David Dunn is the random football of the week. A local lad, home is where the heart is, and I think that's a common theme with Jacob so far in this interview. And thank you very much for joining us. And last question, and obviously, is there anything that you would like to plug, especially because obviously I'll put all your socials in the comments and in the description below. But is there anything specifically that you'd like to plug?
Oh, thank you. I guess everyone, if anyone's interested, to go and check out the music and check out Ewood Lights. I guess that's the main song that people will probably want to listen to of my stuff, and hopefully, who knows, if let's have the song playing when we hopefully make our trips to Wembley this season. Fingers crossed.
That is a perfect summarization of this interview and Jacob's career so far. Let's get it playing at Wembley when we're ultimately winning in the last minute of the playoff final and last minute of the FA Cup, because we're still in it as it currently stands. So thank you very much for coming on, Jacob. Appreciate your time and effort for coming on. Obviously, I know you're busy and stuff like that. So thank you very much for coming on, and we will continue with the pod right about now. Cheers, guys.